Yeah. I'm just checking that my volume is okay. Um, let's see, make sure everything's catching up. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? It's a few minutes delay, which is always interesting. Come on. I am live, aren't I? Yes. Okay. It's not coming up yet. That's all right. We'll plow on. Jump in. Tell me where you're calling, where you're watching from, and if it's your first time, please tell me that as well. That's really weird that that hasn't come up yet. I hope you're actually seeing something. Have we got anyone in? Yeah, we've got a few people in, so that's good. Must be showing up somewhere, but not in group, which is a bit worrying. I have got group there, haven't I? Yeah, I do. Okay. Just if you're watching, please let me know what you're watching on. If you're on YouTube or if you're in my business page, just let me know where you are. So at least I know where it's actually streaming to, which is a bit of a worry. Yeah, I know it's in my group. I'll watch it there. Okay. That volume looks okay. Now let's get started. Okay. Okay, so cool. Thanks for joining me. A beautiful sunny day in the craft room today, which is I've got a few sun rays on the table, but we'll deal with those when we get there. Okay, so last day for free shipping. If you're in Australia, last day today, for all orders over $65, you will get free shipping. So that is a saving of at least $7 on an order. The really small orders would be $7, but 6% on larger orders. So yeah, jump in today if you've got a bit of a wish list and get free shipping on that. Remember to use the host code if your order is less than $250. Apologies, I'm a little bit distracted on watching the comments come up and seeing whether anyone's watching on Facebook. Okay. Other thing we've got happening at the moment is our wonderful 35% off or 35% more starter kit special. I'm really excited. I'm just chatting to a lady now who will be my fourth new chatty stamper when she joins up later today. So that's really exciting. The deal is pretty awesome. You get the 35% off the normal starter kit. So you get $235 Australian in product of your choice for $109.85. Or you can get the supercharged version, which means you get $317.25 for a grand total of $169. So that's really great. I think the lady I'm talking to today is going to go for the supercharged version, option 2. And regardless of the option you go for, you get a free registration to our On Stage at Home this November, which is an extra $123 value, absolutely free. So that is amazing. And one last thing I wanted to show you before we start crafting is remind you of my introduction to card making course. It's actually quite wonderful that the three of the 4 ladies who have joined my team this month actually started their card making with my introduction to card making course. So obviously they've worked through the course, they've enjoyed what they've done, and they've decided to join up so that they can get their craft room set up and get lots of lovely Stampin' Up product to continue their card making with. So that's great. So if you watch videos but you've never really done a lot of card making, or you're coming back to it after a bit of a break, please consider my introduction to card making course. Obviously, when you get to the end of it, you'll have 10 lovely cards using the Sweetest Cherries stamp set, but you'll also have some great techniques and tips and reminders about how to make cards. Okay, so I'm going to turn my camera on, get rid of that, and we'll come in to my crafting area. Okay, so today we're going to craft with the Magical Meadows bundle and designer series paper. Now, I've had this since we pre-ordered them back in a couple of months ago, and I've been really, really, really scared to cut this paper because I absolutely adore it. It's got the blues in it, and as you guys know, I'm a sucker for anything blue, so I'm absolutely loving the paper. But it was just one of those ones that I just thought, oh, once I cut it, it'll be gone. And then, what if I muck it up? So, yes, today you're going to see me cut and use the paper for pretty much the first time, which is pretty exciting. So we're using the Magical Meadows dies and stamp set as well. I think, I can't remember if I've actually gone through this one with you. I know I did with launch. I went through this one a fair bit. Some lovely images there, some sort of snowy pine forests there, which might not be too relevant for us here in Australia. Winter themed sentiments there, which probably we good 6 months off needing those ones, but we also have may this season of sparkle bring joy and delight. So that's quite relevant to Christmas anywhere in the world. And the dies are pretty awesome too. You've obviously got the dies to cut all the images in the stamp set, but you've got some really useful foliage dies as well. So I've used a couple of those today in one of our cards. Okay, so as I usually do when I start with a new stamp set or bundle, I sort of have a bit of a look around on Pinterest or Instagram to see what other people have done with it before me. And this first card I'm going to show you, I have copied and shared from a demonstrator in Canada called Melva. I don't know what her last name was, but when I saw her card, I just thought, yes, I have to give this one a bit of a go and show you guys how pretty it is. It also uses, now there's a couple of those dies that I talked about from the die set. It also uses the second from biggest and the third from biggest deckled circles. Now, if you haven't seen the deckled circles, they're actually in the mini catalogue. They're sort of tucked away in a corner somewhere, so you may miss them if you don't specifically looking for them, but they go right up to, I think the biggest circle is about 5.5 inches across and goes all the way down to a tiny one. I think how many dies there are in the set. I'm just checking the set now. 14. So there's 14 circles in the die set, and as I say, they go from quite big ones that you couldn't fit on a normal card base right through to the tiny little deckled ones. So we use a few different sizes and shapes for that today as well. So I have as I say, the second from largest in white and the third from largest, which I have die cut from the pretty paper. And I'll show you which one I used out of the paper so you know. Where is it? This one. There's another sheet of this one that I've actually used here. So I've just positioned it over a part that's got sort of foliage coming from top and bottom and die cut the circle out of that. Okay, so I've also got another piece of the designer series paper that's got the pretty blueberry bushel tone on tone on the back. So, and I'll just check my comments and my chat so I know. Cool, Melva Peters. Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, she's lovely cards that she popped up for this particular bundle. But as always, when I copy something from someone else, credit where credit's due. So hopefully I can do her card justice. Okay, so I'm going to. This is a basic white thick card base. I always use thick card stock for my card bases. I know a lot of ladies just use the thin stuff. But I find the thick sort of stands up better, especially once you've layered it up with all your bits and bots and your die cuts and everything like that as well. So, okay. All right, so I'm just going to add the blue side of this piece. So the card base is my normal size card base, 5.5 by 4 1/8. So 5.5 by 8 1/4. So a half a piece of cardstock. And this piece is 1/4 of an inch smaller, so 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to do the tone on tone side up, which sort of breaks my heart a bit because there's pretty berries and things on the other side. We've just got that. We've got our blue and white happening here, which is always such a wonderful, clean, crisp combination. There we go. So that's the backing there. So what we're also going to do is add our circle. So obviously our circle's pretty huge. It's going to be too big for our particular card. I'm going to actually just glue it on, glue them together. I've got to remember how to finish this one. Have I got anything in my bag in here? Oh, we'll just wing it. Once we've done it, we'll just wing it. we'll pop our 2 circles together. And then what we're going to do is glue this to our card base and trim off the extra. So we're going to line up the edge of the white of the circle with the white on our card base and pop it so that the foliage looks like it's coming up from this corner. We're going to glue that there, and then we're going to trim the excess off the edge there. So I'm going to glue sort of the left 2/3, I suppose. There we are. Bring that back down, line it up top, bottom, and one corner, one edge. And then just leave that to firm down. Then I'll bring in my trimmer, or I think I'll use my trimmer and just chop that excess off. So you'll have like a part circle on there. Okay, so that's really, really lovely. Really like that. So to be honest, I can't remember how she finished the card. Got myself a piece of, no, didn't do that. That's the second card we're going to do. I don't want to have to refer to her Pinterest post now, but that's okay. We can work it out as we go. We're using 2 of these. So I've cut 2 pieces of the foliage from the die set. One of them is in blueberry bushel and one of them is in just plain white. And then I know I also have to do some stamping. So I'm going to grab some white, a scrap of white, and I'll grab the stamp set. Yes, I'll grab the stamp set. Okay, so I'm going to stamp one of the little leaves and the little berries. I'm going to do this slightly different to the Canadian lady, to Milva, because she just stamped this straight in the blue, but I'm going to use my markers to colour the stamp a little bit, as I did when I showed the lady with Launch. Just going to stamp this so that it has the berries in the blue and the foliage in a green. So, and the green I'm going to use is, let's do a garden green, I think. So I'll grab my garden green blend and my blueberry bushel blend. Okay, so I'll do the stamp of the leaves first, because I can just use plain old ink for that. So we'll stamp that. There we are. That's really nice. I like that. Then with our berries, so I always use the markers when I'm doing colouring my stamp. When I'm using this technique, I use the markers rather than the blends, because the markers are water-based ink and they'll clean up nice, whereas our blends are alcohol-based. And they tend to, that's the blue, Julian. Thankfully they clean up well, because I've just popped blue on where I want the green. Blue is on berries. So just colour in the berries. Now, you don't have to panic and go really, really fast with this technique, but you don't want to dawdle as well. So yeah, so don't half colour one and then pop off and make a coffee or anything like that. You need to do it in one go. So there, I've coloured the berries, and I'll bring in my garden green, colour the leaves. And I'm going to die cut these, both these images. Hopefully I've done that quick enough. If I just stamp that down. There we are. Well, that's good. That turned out really well. So there we are. So you can see we've got our blue berries and our green leaves there. Okay, so I'll grab the dies. And I'll die cut these. Berries. There we are. Both very, very nice. I'll pop those down. I'm going to need those again for my second card, which is my own creation. Okay, so we've got that and we've got that now. I'm going to cut this bit off now that that glue has dried. So I'll grab my trimmer. Line that up. I want to be very careful not to cut the card base itself, so I'll make sure that lines up nice and straight. Cut through. Come in from the other side as well. There we are. Okay, that's cut our card base down. Now, I think I'll grab a scrap of blueberry bushel. And what are we going to do? We do that and that. Here's where I can't remember what the original card looks like, but we'll take it from here. I'll kick myself when I go back to the original card because it'll be just so much cuter. Okay, so that's our little bouquet there that we're going to use. Pop it in a position where there's not so much foliage on the actual designer series paper. That's our little bouquet. What I might do is, since we've got a circle theme happening, I'm going to cut a smaller circle out of our, I do white. I might do, I'll cut one in white and one in, I've got a white one here from the next card. So let's see what looks best. You guys can tell me what you think looks best. I'm going to use a white circle. I think it's going to be too big. It's going to cover over too much. Yeah, nah, I'm going to go just a white. Yeah, I'm just going to go a white rectangle, and then we can, we won't hide so much of our beautiful designer series paper. If I use a huge circle like that, it's just going to be totally covered. Okay, so grab my little strip leftover scrap of white cardstock. Grab the stamp set again. We're going to use the May This Season of Sparkle Bring Joy and Delight. Here. And I think, let's see how this looks. For the splodge, let's turn it over. And that's crooked. It's not my day today. We stayed up quite late last night. We've discovered a Netflix series that we both like, and we stayed up last night watching it, which is not good when you've got to get up the next day and actually do some stamping. So there we go. Yeah, I think it needs a little circle, but it'd be too small for that that sentiment. So I think probably a smaller little sentiment is fine. Yep, no, I like that. I think I'm going to like that, so we'll stick with that. I am going to trim this down so that it's as small as it can be. I'll get my trimmer a little. My little guillotine for that. Trim this right down. There we are. So just a little rectangle with our sentiment on there. I'm going to pop this here. So So it just covers over the manky ends of our little sentiments, and then that's going to be basically our card. I'll bring in some ribbon as well. So if Deb, if you're watching, remind me not to forget the ribbon. Okay, so we'll stick these down. Keep in mind I want that there, so these will go here. Glue. I actually bought from the local craft store some really fine little glue bottles, like with little fine sort of squeezy ends to them. So I'm going to actually pop some of our glue into those and see how it goes for this really fine work. I know we have the fine glue with Stampin' Up, but it never actually comes out fine enough for me. I'm a bit rough with it, I think. I'm just as fine with this as it is with anything else. Now let's pop that one there. That's just a white one. And then we'll bring in our stamped leaves. And I think the nicest part is these cute little berries. We'll bring those in now as well. They come out really well. So as I say, just use your markers. Don't panic and go really, really fast, but don't go slow. Don't dawdle either. Just layering those all up. Bringing our little sentiment just in there. Yeah, no, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. I'm going to pop that on some dimensionals just because it's a bit lumpy under there and I don't want it to be a lumpy sentiment. Yes, so I'm absolutely wrapped. I've got 4 new chatty stampers this month so far, and what is it? We're only on the 11th, so hopefully a few more before the end of the month. If you find that you would like to jump on with the new starter deal, 4 new ones, and 3 of them have come in through my beginners course, which is really, really nice. So hopefully they will. My new ladies will, enjoy what they've learnt and want to do more and more. There we are. Yeah, they might have been better popped up, but anyway, there's enough popping on there already, I think. But yeah, that would have been. They are pretty popped up actually because they're on the top of 4 layers as it is, so they're quite poppy. But maybe we'll pop them up on the next card. Then I'm going to add some ribbon. So I've got the silver trim ribbon here. It comes in a combo pack with gold. So I've got the silver and I've got our white and silver sheer ribbon here as well. This one's in the mini catalogue and this one's in the annual catalogue. I'm just going to tie myself a wee bow. I think I'm going to use this one. I did bring the silver trim in just in case I wanted that thinner look, but I think I'm going to go with this one. And just pop that down on the edge there. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll do some bling. So I'm going to use some new bling from the mini catalogue as well. I'll just trim that off there. Had lunch yesterday with some old friends. Well, no, they're not old, but they're friends from where I used to work in the finance industry. I used to work in a superannuation company. Yeah, so we got together with some old friends from there. And the funny thing was that I put that the wrong way. Yes, I have. The funny thing was that of the 4 of us, only 1 still actually worked for the company. So, yeah, it was quite funny to catch up on all the changes and things. You leave a company and, obviously they did a bit of a restructure when we left and, yeah, so that's it's not like it was before. It's much different, but, you know, different in a good way in a lot of ways. But, yeah, it was so funny. I was standing there at the ordering our food with a guy who used to be my boss, and, it was just like we'd never stopped, you know, seeing each other on a daily basis. It was just so funny. Just slipped right back into, the familiar ways that we had back then. It was so nice. So, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I do that on a more regular basis and not leave it so long, next time, but it was lovely. It was lovely. I'm gonna pop this on a glue dot, and then I'll bring in some bling. I want to actually bring that bow more central. Eek, don't stick yet. I don't want to cover over any of our words, so I'm just going to pop it slightly under that sentiment box there. There we are. That's what I'm after. There we are. Got a bow happening. And the bling I'm going to use is the silver faceted gems out of the Faceted Gem Trio pack. So I don't know if you've seen this one. They're quite large, but they're very sparkly. There's a blue one, which I think is probably like a pool party one. There's a grey one there. And then there's a clear silver one. And the good thing with the silver one is you can actually colour it to be whatever colour you want. So in a previous class, I actually coloured them with Night of Navy ink and make them in a nice dark Night of Navy sentiment. So that was they're very handy that way if that's what you want to do. If there's not the colour there you want, doesn't matter. You can make it yourself. It's very handy that way. But I'm going to use the plain silver ones as silver. There we are. Okay, yeah, I like that. There we are. So there's my card there. There we are. So, yeah, really, really nice. And I love that paper. So that was basically a sixth of a sheet of one part, and then probably about I don't know, I maybe got a quarter of a sheet in that circle. So the circle uses quite a lot of cards, designer series paper, obviously, because it's not nice and square, and you can't sort of make corners out of it. But I think you'll agree that that's definitely worth the extra paper. So there we are. So another card. So as I say, that was from a Canadian demonstrator called Merva. Oh, somebody said what her name was. I'll have to scroll up to see. Somebody told me what Melva Peters is, the lady from Canada. So thank you, Melva, for your lovely card there with a couple of changes to make it mine. But now we'll go on to something that I put together after I'd finished Melva's card. So I've swapped out my blue from Blueberry Bushes to Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to make an old favourite, a Z fold card. So I've already folded my card base. Pop that aside for a minute. This one's still a little bit of work in progress as well, so we'll see how it turns out. I haven't actually made a prototype, so we're sort of making these from scratch. Z fold card is 8 inches across, 5.5 inches tall, and it's scored at 2 and 6. So I've trimmed the quarter off. I trimmed the quarter of an inch off the, I don't know yet, Deb. Am I using ribbon? I'm not quite sure. You'll have to tell me whether I am when we get there. I could just trim the quarter of an inch off the half of the cardstock just to make the measurements easier. So 8 inches along, 2 and 4. You know, there's nothing much more easy than that. Whereas if I left the quarter there, it'd have to be 8 1/4, and then that would be 2 1/8 and 4 and something. So it would just be a bit uneven, which is not what we want. Okay, so we've got our card base. Then I've got a couple of layers of white. So I'm going to stick with the blue and white theme. This one is just basic white, and so that would be 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. See, it makes it easier already. And then we'll pop that on, and then I've got another rectangle of white, which is going to sit on the front panel, and that's 1/4 of an inch smaller as well. So this would be 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, then I've got our pieces of cardstock. So this is the rest of the half. So this is, I used half of it for the circle in this one, and then I used the rest of the half, which has got a lot more sort of foliage on it, for this card. So I made sure that I used the rest of the piece of cardstock quite well. And pop that on the back. Isn't that gorgeous? I honestly think that the designer series paper is a real highlight of this suite, or this bundle. It's just gorgeous. And then a little skinnier or narrower piece of cardstock, designer series paper for the front. There we are. Okay, so using our deckled circles again, I've got, I think this is about 4th or 5th from the smallest. I'll tell you how far across it is, just so you don't have to, if you've got them, you can tell. It's just over 2 3/4 in diameter, which is about just over 7 centimetres in diameter. And the next size down one, I've got in actually designer series paper. So I've done a slightly smaller one in designer series paper. I'm going to pop those two together, and they're going to sit on the front like this. Now, I did have a white one for the centre there. When I popped it on, it just looked a bit too stark. It just looked a bit too, like, it took a bit too much away from the surrounding designer series paper. So I thought a nice, softer blue would actually, let you concentrate on the pretty paper more than the front. And then I've got the larger one again in white, and I'm going to pop that inside and hide it behind there. And that's where we're going to we can put our follow-on sentiment or your personal message or whatever you'd pop on the inside of your cards. So they're going to sit like that on the front. So let's glue those together. Now I'm trying to think to myself, is there going to be ribbon in this card? I might stick to the same thing that we did with the first card and use the silver ribbon as well. That's going to sit there on the front. And then this one is going to sit inside. Okay. So it doesn't matter too much if it's inside, that it takes sort of the attention, because it's going to be covered over by the front one anyway. Okay, so to decorate that, I thought I would do the same with, grab my scrap of white, and I will die cut another couple of those images. Those dies there on the magnetic plate to keep them safe. You stay down there. And you. Actually, I was thinking of using this piece. You see, this one's got like the little trees in the background. Thought maybe that one would be nice on there as well. But then I felt I was introducing too much clutter when I did that. So I thought the plain one would be nice. Okay, so let's do some stamping. Which ones are we going to use this time? I might use this one here because it's actually in the paper. I can see the same images here on the paper, so we might do that one. I haven't actually got it out of its packing yet. Make sure I've still got the, here they are, backings. Just going to pop this one on its backing. Another thing goes on the floor. The floor ended up absolutely covered. I'm cutting kits at the moment, and the floor is absolutely covered with bits and pieces and bobs and envelope, the little sticky things off the cellophane envelopes, everything. Okay, so that one's there. So we might do that one. And we'll do that. What colour will we do that? This one here is like a green. I think it probably needs to be a blue. So we might do this one in Misty Moonlight. See how we go. There's my Misty Moonlight there. And then we might do the berries again, and we'll set them up as suggested. Was it Barbara that suggested that? Yeah, I thought that would be a nice idea. But I might just do them in the, no, I'll do them in the green, and I'll do these in the blue. So I'll do these just in blue. Yep, that's okay. And the green would have to be, actually I might try shaded spruce. Let's try shaded spruce. Where are you, shaded spruce? Yeah. Let's do different green. I know that shaded spruce is one of the designers here. We're safe to use it. A block. Didn't stamp. Ink pad's a little bit dry. I'll flip over and stamp that one again. That's better. Okay, so let's grab our dies. Dies. And we want this one. So I think you can see that this particular stamp set, even though it's got a couple of winter themes and sort of a snowy sort of look to the paper, the stamp set itself you can use all year round. I mean, this foliage could be used to back just about any sort of design that you make. And, you know, put it together with a happy birthday or a thinking of you or a sympathy or anything like that. I think it would be pretty nice. So I have a feeling this one, as much as it's taken me a while to, oh, you're a silly person, I've actually overlapped that with my berries. So I'm going to have to stamp my berries again. Stamp my berries again. Yeah, so I think you could probably use it all year round for anything. I mean, these little berries here have a distinct sort of blueberry. I don't know what the leaves of blueberries look like. I don't know that they look particularly like that, but there's a definite berry sort of foliage vibe happening there. Let's do that better. Having lunch with my daughter-in-law today. Meet her in town, in the city, and have some lunch and then come home. She's on her week off. She's finished one job. She was working in retail. She finished up last week there. She's got a week off, and then she starts her new job on Monday, which is, we're all very excited. She did retail, bricks and mortar retail for 4 or 5 years, and yeah, it gets pretty stressful. Unfortunately, our poor retail workers get a lot more abuse than they deserve, and she got her fair share over the last couple of years. So I was really relieved when she decided to get out and you know, find another job in a non-retail environment. So yeah, really excited and happy for her. So I'm having lunch with her today during her week off, which I'm really happy to do. And yeah, so fingers crossed she'll have a lovely time at the new employer. In fact, actually, it's the people she's working for. I've worked for them in the past as well, so I know that they're a good group. No nepotism. I didn't get her the job, I promise. Although they did ring and ask me whether she was actually my daughter-in-law, and I had to say yes. That's okay. Obviously didn't stand in her way. They didn't hold that against her, which was good. Okay, so I'm going to actually emboss this in white embossing powder, if I can find my white embossing powder. Just to give it on a bit of a blue and white sort of theme continuing. I'll grab I've got, again, the May this season of Sparkle Bring Joy and Delight. My Versamark ink. There we are. I didn't buddy that, did I? I didn't use my embossing buddy. We'll see how it goes. Got my accessories here. No, that needed some buddying before I did it. There must have been a damp spot on the cardstock. We'll get rid of that. And I'll buddy it. Pick another spot on the cardstock. Get your buddy there. So that's going to take all the fingerprints and moisture off the cardstock before you bring the Versamark ink in. Because the Versamark ink has to be the only wet or moist part of the cardstock for embossing powder. That should be better. So this is on my Misty Moonlight cardstock. Yep, that's better. There we are. So I'll bring in my heat gun. And it's turning now, which is good, nice and quick. And I thought with this one, if I can find a nice deckled rectangle that fits, I'm going to use that. Pop that out of the way. Put this down here so I can clean that up later. I'm going to have a look and see if I can find a deckled rectangle that fits that. Deckled rectangles. Here we are. So keep with the whole deckled shape theme. Does the little one fit? Yes, beautiful. Perfect. We'll use the smallest of the deckled rectangles. All our shapes here will be pretty deckled. Nice. Bring back our card. And let's see how I go. So let's put that there. Put our foliage behind it. I think I'm going to be able to set our berries up, I don't think. Unless I bring them out. Let's have a look. Bring that in front. Bring that foliage behind. Sorry, can't see what I'm doing. I could put those berries Yeah. Bring those berries there. Okay, so that's the end result I'm going for. I'll pop it all on and then I'll bring it up so you can see it a bit closer. I think that's going to be nice, definitely. Then I'll add some ribbon. Okay, so let's pop this onto our card base. So we only want to glue half of it because it's going to be half on and half off. Yeah, and I'm happy with my choice to use the designer series paper rather than the white there, just to soften it a bit. There we are. Let's bring this one in, going from that way to that way. So we'll glue that as well. And then this is going to go across the middle there, or maybe slightly below the middle, so I've got room for our berries. And I'll pop the berries up here. Yep, I'm pleased with that. That'll work. I might pop the sentiment on some dimensionals first. Then we can contemplate ribbon. I don't have any misty moonlight ribbon. Might go the silver one we've used already, I think. I'll pop that on there. Let's see how these little guys go on dimensionals as well. Let's have a look. That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm actually going to bring my wink of Stella in, I think. Here's my wink of Stella. And I think if I give those berries some Stella, I think that will lift it a bit as well. Just the berries. And there's little berries on here as well, so I might give them some Stella as well. Look, honestly, you probably wouldn't notice it unless you were a card maker. I'm sure we notice things that other people don't. If I gave that to a card maker, she'd go, oh, you've put a bit of Winker Stella on there, whereas anyone else would just probably not even notice. But anyway. Okay, so let's bring in our ribbon. So my other option for ribbon today was this silver trim ribbon that comes in a combo pack with some gold, the same thing in gold. Let's have a look at that. Do my usual bow, or attempt at. No, I think it's too little. I think it needs the big ribbon. Same ribbon as we used before, the silver and white, I think. Yeah, Do you think, Debbie, we were obviously thinking in the same direction, but do you think there's not enough to it, is there? Do you think it's too thin? Or do you think it's nice that way? It doesn't take too much from the overall design if it's just there. If I thought before I put the I wonder if I can slip it down under. If I just slipped a loop of it under the sentiment. I wonder if I can do that. So I didn't go too mad with my dimensionals. I could have just popped it straight underneath, just as a loop. No, I think a bow. What do you think, Deb? Yeah, okay, let's do. We're going to do the trim just as a little bow. As you say, it doesn't take, as I said, it doesn't take too much from the design that way. It does Doesn't curl nicely though, this trim. It's sort of you go like that and it folds, it sort of creases. So it doesn't form a loop. I can force it back. Here we are. Let's just trim that. And bling. I thought I would, rather than the um, glitter gems, I thought I'd use silver pearls on this one. So I've got silver pearls in the festive pearls pack. Let's just pop that there. Yep. Glue dots. There we are. And some pearls, some festive pearls. Here they are. So they're still available. We've had them for a couple of years. There's a red one at the top there, which is very popular, a green one, and a silver one, and a gold one. So they are really tell it to do. Oh, I will do. I will. Yeah, so I thought I'd use the silver ones on these. So I've gone through so many packs of these. They're just so gorgeous. There we are. Maybe a couple down here as well. We've gone 5. Definitely extravagant, this card, with 5 bling. Okay, so there is my Z fold card. Very similar along the lines of the original card with the circles and things, but just to put my spin on that whole design there. So there we are. So our Z fold card with our lovely berries and foliage and that glorious paper. There we are. And then this one that I copied as I was coming to terms with the set. That's what I do. I think a lot of people do it. You tend to sort of see what other people have done, give it a bit of a go, put a bit of a tweak on it, and then expand from that to your own thoughts and ideas. Okay, so that's my cards for us today. Hopefully you've enjoyed both of those. Remember, it's free shipping up until for orders over $65 till about midnight tonight. I think it's midnight for online orders. So pop on if you've really like this bundle. Why not grab it with free shipping? It'd be great. Or even better, grab it as part of your starter kit if you wanted to join the Chatty Stampers this month with that great 35-year anniversary offer. Okay, but thanks very much for joining me today, guys. Have a great week, and I will probably see you all again at the weekend.